But first tonight, we begin with breaking news on the WHAS11 night team. One of the world's most famous diplomats, the former Secretary of State Henry Kissinger, has died. He was 100 years old. Kissinger served under the Nixon and Ford administrations, but in all, he advised 12 presidents, from John F. Kennedy to current President Joe Biden. During Vietnam, he advocated the controversial bombing of the North, while at the same time helped negotiate a ceasefire. And when Arab states attacked Israel in 1973, he helped broker a peace pact.
No area of the world is it more difficult to promote a just and lasting peace than in the Middle East.
Even after his time as Secretary of State, Kissinger was a sought-after advisor for many future presidents and other leaders. ABC News will have in-depth coverage of his legacy tomorrow morning on Good Morning America at 7 right here on WHAS 11. Hello, everybody, and thank you for joining us tonight. I'm Doug Proffitt. Here in Louisville tonight, community members held an outdoor news conference to prevent another tragedy after a fire in a tent killed a homeless person living right under the I-65 overpass in Old Louisville. WHAS 11 night team's Connor Steffen and photojournalist Addie Hill show us the efforts.
This came from nowhere.
Underneath the I-65 overpass near Brooks and East College Streets sits this singed spot.
It's insufferable. It's unthinkable.
The story of how it got there now singed into the minds of many.
Someone right here burned to death in our city. And I know our city is better than that.
Because it didn't have to be. It didn't have to be at all.
One person killed, another injured. It happened Tuesday at an encampment used as shelter by many who are houseless.
So I can only imagine what the last moments of this man's life felt like.
The cause of the fire is still unknown, but homeless outreach workers say people living in these tents often build fires to stay warm. The group from West Chestnut Baptist Church wants to prevent something like this from happening ever again, raising awareness and donations for clothing to hand out extra layers to those displaced heading into the colder months.
Maybe if he had some flannel pajama, he wouldn't have died.
Among the group,
that extra layer of clothing really would make a difference.
Is Shamika Shaw. Formerly homeless, she says the city should be doing more.
This is the only homes they know, but you don't offer them any alternatives.
In a statement Tuesday, the office of Mayor Craig Greenberg called the death tragic, saying in part, quote, "We will continue our efforts to prevent tragedies like the one Tuesday."
We're done waiting for the city to come and save us. We're coming to save ourselves.
Those at West Chestnut Baptist plan to hold the clothing drives here at the church both Thursday and Friday before handing out the clothes Friday at 4. If you're interested in helping, you can find more information on our website, WHAS11.com. In Louisville, Connor Steffen, WHAS 11 on your side.
Here's more information on that clothing drive. The group's going to be collecting donations tomorrow and Friday at West Chestnut Baptist Church at 1725 West Chestnut Street. They're looking for people to specifically donate pajama sets. For more details, you can check out our website at WHAS11.com. We've been following reports today that Humana, one of Louisville's biggest and best-known locally controlled companies, is in merger talks now with Cigna, and the deal could be finalized by the end of the year, according to reports. It's the Wall Street Journal reporting the story, citing people familiar with the talks. They say the merger would create a new powerhouse in the healthcare industry. The Journal says Humana recently made moves to clear the deck for a merger by getting rid of a key unit. Humana also named a new CEO in October, replacing Bruce Broussard, who's been running Humana since 2013, and he leaves on January 8th. This also once again raises major questions about the future of the homegrown company in Louisville and its headquarters. Humana has 11,000 employees here, and tonight they had no comment on, quote, the Cigna deal rumor. After months of heavy criticism from residents, Louisville's Metro Housing Authority has a new leader. Today, Mayor Craig Greenberg appointed Louisville native Elizabeth Strojan. She last worked in New York City to increase affordable housing there in New York City. Strojan is also taking over former Housing Authority Director Lisa Osanka, who stepped down after a turbulent end to her tenure. Residents have complained about mistreatment, mold, bed bugs, and neglect from management. But Strojan promised that all changes that will change now.
We have to be out in front, we have to be proactive, we have to be looking for new solutions. And change is hard, it's not always easy, and that's why I don't want to put facts on the ground before I sit with HUD, sit with residents, sit with LMHA senior staff, sit with community leaders, so I have a full understanding of the issues, the resources, the challenges, and we can make plans together.
She officially takes over the position in Louisville in January. Indiana State Police tell us that they've served more search warrants today in the investigation involving the former Clark County, Indiana Sheriff Jamie Knoll. He's being investigated for misconduct and theft charges during his time in office. Knoll was arrested earlier this month on 15 felony counts and is currently out on bond. An Indiana State Police spokesperson would not tell us where the warrants were served today. He did say that there were several served. Maryhurst in Louisville has confirmed that a 16-year-old who was hit and killed on the Gene Snyder Freeway 2 weeks ago was one of their residents. The child welfare nonprofit in eastern Jefferson County says Ava Simmerly and another girl walked away from the Dorsey Lane campus just before 9 a.m. on November 18th. A release from Maryhurst says the staff members tried to find the girls, then notified authorities. Louisville Metro Police say Simmerly was hit on the Snyder near the Taylorsville Road exit at about 7 that night. The other girl is now in the care of the state. In a statement, Maryhurst says that they are heartbroken by the tragic loss. They say they're committed to creating a safe, secure environment, but they are not a full security detention facility. Happening new tonight, JCPS is looking to build a new elementary school to serve Newokalona. The current school is 51 years old and lacks the proper structure, making it challenging for students to learn. WHAS11 Night Team's Taylor Woods takes us inside the school and shows us the neighboring land being targeted for the new project.
Ceilings that have seen better days and classroom dividers are used inside Newokalona Elementary School. It causes high noise levels and distractions between classrooms. It's why JCPS is planning to purchase 3.2 acres of land at Newokalona Park to build the new Newokalona Elementary School. Principal April Hetzel says it's long overdue.
And it's very difficult to know which class is making the noise, and it's really hard to do quiet activities because both classes have to be quiet at the exact same time.
The school was built in 1972 with no windows and sits at the top of the JCPS replacement list. During a public meeting, JCPS staff shared renderings of the proposed two-story building worth $40 million.
An environment where they can learn without distractions, windows, and all of the things that this school is missing.
If built, the school would have a similar concept to Echo Trail, Wilkerson, and Indian Trail Elementary. Over the next 10 years, JCPS looks to build 20 schools, and Newokalona is one of them.
What it is an old open concept building that doesn't really meet the modern requirements. Over the years, walls have been built, the HVAC is end of life.
Making Newokalona Park a prime site to build the new school. But first it has to get approval from Metro Council, which owns the land.
We have a great relationship with Metro Park and Metro Council. I think that Councilman Syme said it best. This is a win-win for both the school community and Newokalona.
An exciting opportunity for Hetzel, who has worked inside the school for more than a decade.
I'll be able to finish it in a brand new building, and all the students and the staff are going to get the building that they deserve.
Remaining hopeful that Metro Council approves. In Louisville, Taylor Woods, WHAS11 Night Team on your side.
If Louisville Metro Council approves JCPS to purchase the land at Newokalona Park, construction for a new Newokalona Elementary School is expected to begin next year. We have a late update just in tonight from the Louisville Water Company about that large water main break we've been telling you about on Preston Highway near the Outer Loop. A spokesperson just as we went on the air tonight says they've now restored water service to the 8 businesses that were impacted by the break there near the Outer Loop. A crew will be working overnight and into the morning to complete the repairs. So you should still expect some lane closures on Preston Highway. There are no traffic closures happening on the Outer Loop. Well, the Cardinal basketball team at home tonight in downtown Louisville taking on crosstown rival Bellarmine, the team that beat UofL by 1 point last year in the Yum Center. It was another close game tonight, but this time Scotty Davenport and the Knights couldn't pull off the victory. Sports Director Kent Spencer is here to break down the game. Kent?
Yeah, Doug, both coaches summed it up down. Kenny Payne talked about the effort Bellarmine played with in the first half. Knights had a 5-point lead at the break. Scotty Davenport talked about how hard Louisville played coming out of the locker room. Cards controlled the game from that point on. Biggest thing about the second half, Louisville had 20 points in the paint in the final 20. They imposed their will and their size on a Bellarmine team who was down 2 starters, dressed just 9. Scotty Davenport said his guys fought, but they also ran out of gas down the stretch. Now, Tyler Johnson provided Louisville a big lift in the second half after not playing much in the first half. Kenny Payne said the reason he didn't play in the first half because Louisville did not have the right tights for Johnson to wear. They got the situation worked out in the second half. You can see Payne's full quote on my X, formerly known as Twitter page, at WHAS11 Kent. You're going to hear from both coaches coming up a little later on in sports. For the night team, I'm Ken Spencer.
All right. Thank you very much, Kent. Well, 150 years of Louisville bourbon history, along with the formal attire that people used to wear to cocktail parties, all on display tonight in a new exhibit called Spirited Design. At the Fraser Museum tonight, they kicked off the new show of the Old Forester Decanter series. Right here, you can see the decade of the 60s flash by right into the 70s. Also, you can check out the original ad campaigns for the bourbon. Bourbon companies like Brown-Forman used to put a lot of effort into these holiday collectibles. Andy Trinan, the president and CEO of the Fraser, told us why it was so unique.
It was a celebration of this decanter series that Old Forester launched in the 50s and carried on for over 20 years, where every year they would launch a holiday-themed decanter, and they hired the foremost authority in industrial design, Raymond Loewy, to design those bottles.
Also on display, the cocktail attire that people used to wear to cocktail parties, donated by the Bourbon Company. Trinan says Old Forester, by the way, is bringing back the decanter tradition. And next December, the 2024 creation will be debuted at the Fraser Museum.